All right, guys. Today we are going to be reacting to Andrew Wilson versus they them feminist debate on the benefits of feminism. Let's jump in, guys.
Feminism has switched women from duty to materialism.
Can you explain what you mean by that first?
Yeah, I can't think of a single. When you talk about egalitarianism being, So let's start with this, I guess. Are rights real?
Real in what sense?
Do they materially exist anywhere? Or are they concepts of the mind?
Yeah, rights are concepts of the mind.
Yeah, so they don't actually exist, right?
No, something that's a concept still exists.
Where?
Yeah, like feelings exist, thoughts exist.
Where?
They exist within the mind. You just said that.
Yeah, where's that?
In the mind?
Where is that, though?
In brains?
So the brain exists inside the mind?
The mind is constituted of the brain.
The brain is the mind, then?
That might be a semantic thing, but I'm fine with saying however you want to parse out those terms, that yes, concepts come from minds. Minds either are or come from brains.
Okay, so, is the mind the brain?
Look, that's a complex question I don't have the answer to.
I don't either, so I just want to make sure that I understand where concepts exist.
I mean, look, if you just want to say the brain just for simplicity, that's fine. I'm not sure, like, are you like well versed on philosophy of mind or something? Is that like...
I'm not trying to move you into philosophy of mind. I'm just trying to ask you about rights being a concept, because when I say that they're not real, you say they are real because concepts are real.
Right.
But I don't understand how concepts themselves are real.
Yeah, they're real as in they're, things that are from the mind.
Okay, so...
Like thoughts, you wouldn't say a thought is not a real thing. A thought is a real thing.
No, I don't think so.
Well, when you say objective...
A thought is a real thing, meaning in what sense? Because a thought only live inside your mind, unless... I don't know. That's kind of confusing.
Or subjective. What do you mean by objective or subjective?
I didn't use those words, but usually in philosophy, objective means mind independent,
Yes.
and subjective means mind dependent.
Okay, right. So concepts, then, they're dependent on a mind?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, so they don't exist absent a mind.
They don't exist absence of minds? No.
Okay, so if all human beings were gone, rights would not exist because the concepts would be gone, right?
Well, I didn't say human minds. There could be, some alien, the xenomorphs or whatever, come down and they have their own concepts of rights. Then, yeah, I mean, that's still a mind. They have rights, etc.
Yeah, no, sure. If there was aliens, they okay.
Just to clarify, it's not just human minds. It is just, minds that can conceptualize of rights.
Whatever those minds are.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay, got it. So when we're talking about rights, though, they don't exist in any sort of material reality.
That question hinges upon the, is the mind the brain or not?
You can't taste them, touch them, smell them, see them, that kind of thing.
Sure. No, of course not.
Yeah, okay, got it. So rights, for all intents and purposes, are just things that we make up.
Sure. That doesn't make them any less real.
Oh my god. This is one of those things that basically she want to be with God and the devil at the same time. They're not let's go back.
Things that we make up. So
Rights are things that we
touch
make
them,
up.
smell them, see them,
Yeah,
that
you can.
kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Sure. No, of course not.
Yeah.
Of course not. Right? Of course not.
I got it. So rights, for all intents and purposes, are just things that we make up.
We make up. It is true. It's not something you can see. You cannot see a right. You can't see it. You can't see it, guys. It's something that is subjective. Now, the closest thing that we can make it as concrete is to have... Man, it's all come down to enforcement, guys. It all come around to enforcement. Right? It's not a real thing unless... If you think it's real, your entire argument is going to fall, because then you have to give Andrew the win in that case, because you have to encounter enforcement. And it's still, with enforcement, it's not real. But it needs the right in itself needs something to be enforced. Otherwise, it will not exist, guys. Otherwise, it would not exist. Otherwise, it will be everybody by themselves, like surviving.
Sure. That doesn't make them any less real.
Contradiction.
Well, I guess we're going to have to clear this up again then. Real how? Is a unicorn real?
Well, as a fictional concept, yeah.
As a concept, it's real.
As a fiction, just to be clear. There's a way that fiction is used in a technical sense. I'm not super familiar with it, but you can point to things that are fiction and things that aren't fiction. So it would be like, well, maybe Spider-Man is real in a sense, but he's real in a fictional way. He's still real, right? There's still a book. There's still movies about
bro.
him. There's still actors that play him. In a sense, there is
Well, he's real in your mind.
Spider-Man, right? Well, there are material things tied to Spider-Man, right? But there is a real concept of Spider-Man. He's
Okay.
just real in a fictional sense.
Got it. So then for you,
Yeah, whatever, right?
rights actually do exist as more than they're not. They're when you say concept, you actually believe concepts are real in some sense,
I think they're real in a mind-dependent way.
mind dependent.
When you
Mind
say,
dependent.
so I think what you're doing here, and you can correct me if I'm wrong,
I'm making sure we just don't
is
equivocate.
that, yeah, but it seems like what you are doing might be a little bit of that, but it might seem like you're saying something is only real if and only if it's material. Do you believe that or no?
I don't. No.
Okay.
I'm just making
Sure.
sure that we get the view clear.
Sure,
that
yeah.
we're
So there can
talking
be real
about-
So
things.
she's trying to get control of the conversation. That's what she's trying to do now, here, guys, because she's feeling that she's in the defensive. And generally, I do believe that Andrew's just trying to make sure that, because Andrew's arguments are always stronger when he really knows where his opponents stand. Without that, it's very hard to just figure out where things stand. And then you're going to get to back and forward, and then the arguments are going to be destroyed. She's not used to this. Because you see her with your little hair, with the glasses and everything. You see a lot of simps in her life, right? And she's not used to this. So she's trying to regain. Man, I cannot imagine me with a female like this, guys. Oh, man, it has to be the worst, guys. Andrew's trying to figure out what is or what are her ideas, guys. That's what it is. She's getting
Even
it
if we don't have a
close.
specific definition, there can be real things that aren't material.
Yeah, concepts.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, got it. So rights are a concept.
Yeah, they are a concept, but they are real. Because there's
But in the sense that
non-material, real
concepts,
things.
yeah,
Yeah.
in the sense that concepts are real.
right, just like your feelings are real, just like your thoughts, your dreams are real.
Got it. And concepts are changeable, right? Just like rights.
The concepts themselves, yeah, the way that people think of things, yeah, those
Yeah,
things can change. Sure.
Okay. So we've established that rights are just concepts. Concepts can be real. I'll just agree in that sense because, again, it doesn't really matter, I guess, in this particular confines. When I say duty you would have to exist, or you'd have to admit is also real then as a concept.
What do you mean by duty?
Obligations that you have absent entitlements. And I would classify rights as being entitlements you have absent obligations.
So you said a duty is an obligation absent.
You see how Andrew's drinking the water? I'm not making this stuff up, guys. Let's go back to this.
Classify rights as being entitlements you have absent obligations.
So you said a duty is an.
He's still having eye contact with her, right? Remember about the other one, the other female? She was drinking her water and just connecting the body language by looking completely almost at 90 degrees to her left. I'm not making this stuff up, guys. The reason she was doing this is just disconnect, make sure she can make Andrew stumble, emotional. You see what I'm saying? This is very interesting, man. Because if you hear her, it doesn't make sense. It's more goalposting, but body language is what matters. Sign language is what matters. That way they can derail you out of the conversation. If you manage to just at least control that monster. Sign language, all this body language stuff, it's not going to really matter. But it's something very important in the debate space.
An obligation absent an entitlement.
Yeah.
And then you said that. What was the second?
That for a right, it would be an entitlement absent a duty.
Oh my God, she's doing what now?
Okay.
Bro, she's trying so hard. Oh my God. She's doing the detective trick. She's being a detective. She's trying now to control the pace of the conversation.
Yeah. So I don't actually see any duties women have in modernity. None. Like no actual duties.
Duties to what?
Anything.
You don't like in a moral sense or
No.
Anything.
In any sense.
Anything,
So
anything.
I see a lot of entitlements, rights, entitlements absent duties. So you have the right to vote, no duty to vote, right to own a gun, no duty to own a gun, right? You have the right to incriminate or not incriminate yourself, but no duty to incriminate yourself or not to incriminate yourself, right? Every one of these rights is an entitlement. There's no duty which comes along with it. So I think that in a time before feminism, let's say especially the 1900s, that instead of women and men in this case moving towards a materialistic outlook, they focused a lot more on duties instead of entitlements themselves. And I think that that has been very bad for society, the focus on materialism from feminism.
Okay, maybe just to get more clear on that term duty, being an obligation absent entitlement. What you're saying is that, you know, somebody should act or needs to act, right, without being given anything to act?
No, they could be given orders to act. That could be
No,
considered
that's
a duty.
not what I'm saying.
No.
Okay, maybe there was some miscommunication there, but something that, you know, you should do whether or not you're rewarded for it or something like that. Is that something like
Is
what
it
you mean?
me? Is it me or her glasses are kind of crooked, guys? Let me know in the comment section below.
Yeah.
Okay. So something...
Some obligation to do, some obligation absent entitlement to perform X action.
Okay.
See here.
Now that's
Oh
not a
my
perfect
God,
definition,
dude,
but I
this
think
is
it's
so
like a
cringy,
workable
guys.
one for the purpose
Oh,
of
this is so cringy. She's trying to control the tempo of the conversation.
conversation.
Okay, so you think that, you know, women don't have any duties, but they do have...
But I think men do. I think men have duties.
Can we get clear on if you're making a descriptive claim or if you're making some sort of like prescriptive claim?
Oh
Descriptive.
my God.
Descriptive? Okay, so you think that men have duties and women don't?
Yes.
And that you think that women have rights and men don't have rights, or they do?
I think that women have more rights than men do. So this would come down to my argument for conscription. It's very simple. Men have a duty and obligation to sign up for the draft. Women
Yep.
have no such obligation or duty to do so, but women can still vote to send men to wars and then not fight in them because they can't be drafted. So I would
Okay.
consider that to be an extra right that women have that men do not have, because they are they actually have to sign up and be conscripted during wartime
Okay, sure.
and absent wartime.
Okay, so this is argument feminism bad because men have to go to the draft and women don't, and they both get the right to vote?
No, this is an argument for materialism. I'm just expressing that when we moved away from a duty-based society for women, I can't think of any actual obligations that women have as far as duties to society, but I can think of actual obligations that men do have still as a duty to society. And so it seems that women themselves actually have more rights in modern society than men do. And also, right, that...
Man, this is incredible how Andrew managed to dismantle this, because this is the core issue in our society. And we cannot do this. And this is what happened when females get into power, because they don't have the responsibility. They can be in a position of power, but they never have the consequences. Almost never have the consequences to deal with those bad decisions, because they never have to be the one that need to confront their bad decisions. The system is not built for that, guys. Think about it. Female politician, Tiffany Hinier from Illinois, clearly committing a lot of fraud, allegedly, a lot of transactions. You know, even sending hitmen and stuff like that to just delete some people. Nothing happened. Nothing happened. And the corruption was so evident, allegedly, so evident, that I don't think some of these prosecutors or those people that were investigating, they didn't know what to do. They don't know what to do because it's so evident they can't even believe it. Like, at some point, the conversation regarding these topics has to come to a practical solution. It has to. And Andrew Wilson has done a very good job in dismantling the arguments here. Men have the duty because of the draft, and we can sustain those artificial rights by enforcement. And that's our duty, is to protect and provide. That's our duty, right? At the end of the day. However, females, what duty do they have? Think about it, guys. Just think about it for a second. What duty do they have? They have none. None, guys. It's supposed to be reproduction. That's why we build commodities around this world to make sure we can reproduce comfortably. They're not doing it. And if they do reproduce, most of the time, not most of the time, but there's a great percentage that is always with the wrong person. Let's just finish here.
A lot of this movement towards the idea of more additional rights comes from materialism itself. Everything seems to staunchly revolve around I want, me, I want, because it feels good.
Okay. Sure. I'm not sure. Maybe we could get more clear on materialism there. I'm not for the draft. I am for people voting. I think people should vote. So if you're making descriptive claims about like, okay, well, you think that this moved towards materialism, and I'm thinking maybe you're talking about like Marxist materialism, or do you mean something totally, do you mean materialism in a totally different field?
Yeah, in this case, very simple, right? I'm just using materialism in the sense of stuff in the replacement for something that is not stuff.
Yep.
Like, for instance, if we're talking about concepts of God, of country, of nation, of state, things like that, which could be fulfilling, and materialism would be the idea that like stuff can be fulfilling, like actual material goods, things like this can be a form of fulfillment.
Okay, so materialism, from what you're defining, is that material goods can be fulfilling.
Yeah.
Okay, this has to do what with feminism?
There we go. Again, that old tactic, man. She's trying to put Andrew into the defensive position. She's just asking this question like a detective, guys.
What feminism has done is move women more towards materialism than duties. Duties would be this idea of the conceptualization of I ought to do things outside of because it feels good, whereas materialism is I'm going to get this stuff because it feels good.
Right. I mean, I can think that people should do things because I think it would have good outcomes for them. Like, I think that people should vote because I think that that helps them pursue their political goals more. And I think that people enjoy freedom. I think that's good for people's well-being.
Because it feels good. It's feel good. All this feel good, but there's no responsibility, accountability behind it, guys. Let me know what you guys think. I'll see you next one.